You're all welcome to today's political analysis. This is where we break it down simple, clear, and straight. If you care about Nigeria, if you care about democracy, then stay with me. Before we go on, subscribe and turn on your notification bell. Because what is happening now in Abuja is not small. Peter Obi has come out strong. Very strong. He is not whispering. He is not smiling. He is not playing safe. He is blasting the Independent National Electoral Commission. Yes, thy NEC. He said, how can a body trusted with national elections fail to conduct ordinary area chairmanship elections in Abuja, the capital of Nigeria? Let that sink in. This is not a remote village. This is not a small town. This is Abuja, the seat of power. And according to him, there were serious election irregularities. Things did not go the way they should. Standards were not met. He is asking one big question. If this can happen in Abuja, what about other places? That question is heavy. Because elections are the backbone of democracy. If people cannot trust the process, then what are we doing? Peter Obi did not speak casually. His tone was firm. His message was direct. He made it clear that the issue is not about party politics. According to him, it is about credibility. It is about responsibility. It is about doing the right thing at the right time. He pointed out that Abuja is the Federal Capital Territory. It is the center of government. It is where major institutions operate. If an election in the capital struggles with basic organization, then it raises deep concerns about preparedness and capacity. He questioned how materials could be delayed. He questioned how procedures could fall below expected standards. He questioned how a system designed to manage complex national elections could struggle with local council polls. These are not small accusations. Inec is the body responsible for conducting elections across Nigeria. From presidential to governorship to local government polls, the commission is expected to operate with fairness, order, and independence. That independence is not just a word in the Constitution. It is the foundation of public trust. When Peter Obi speaks about irregularities, he is touching that foundation. He is suggesting that something is wrong within a system that Nigerians rely on. And when the system responsible for counting votes begins to face questions, people naturally become uneasy. He did not say the entire election was invalid. He did not say democracy has collapsed. But he clearly said standards were not met. That statement alone carries weight. Standards exist for a reason. There are guidelines. There are timelines. There are rules meant to ensure that every voter is treated fairly. When those standards are not followed strictly, confidence drops. And once confidence drops, suspicion grows. Obi's criticism also reflects a broader concern many Nigerians have had over time. People want improvement. People want transparency. People want systems that work without excuses. He stressed that electoral management should never appear careless. It should never appear influenced. It should never appear unprepared. According to him, Nigeria cannot continue to lower the bar. He emphasized that conducting elections is not an experiment. It is a constitutional duty. It is a serious national responsibility. It must be handled with precision and integrity. What makes this even more sensitive is that Abuja represents Nigeria to the world. Diplomats are there. Foreign observers pay attention to what happens in the capital. If processes look weak in the center, it affects perception everywhere else. Peter Obi's comments have now triggered conversations across political circles. Supporters see his remarks as necessary accountability. Critics argue that election challenges happen everywhere. But beyond the arguments, the central issue remains performance. Did INEC meet the expected standard? That is the question at the heart of this debate. Obi believes the answer is no. He believes that improvement is not optional. He believes that institutions must be stronger than individuals. And he believes that democracy cannot survive on excuses. This is why his statement matters. It is not only about one election day. It is about the direction of Nigeria's democratic process. It is about whether systems are learning from past mistakes. It is about whether reforms are truly happening or simply being discussed. When a national figure openly challenges the electoral body, it creates pressure. Pressure for explanation. Pressure for accountability. Pressure for reform. And now, Nigerians are listening carefully. Because if the capital city cannot deliver a smooth local election, the concern will not stay local. It will become national. Now let us look closely at the second part of this issue. Peter Obi did not stop at criticizing INEC. He also directed attention to the role of the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike. That is where the discussion becomes more sensitive. Wike is not just a politician observing from a distance. He is the FCT Minister, appointed by President Bola Tinubu. His office oversees administrative matters in Abuja. Because of that position, any allegation of interference in a local election carries serious weight. Peter Obi accused Wike of interfering in the area council elections. He described such interference as improper in a democracy. According to him, electoral processes must remain free from political influence, especially from public office holders who hold executive power. In a functioning democracy, the electoral body is expected to operate independently. The word independent is not decorative. It means decisions should be made without pressure from politicians, ministers, or powerful individuals. It means the conduct of elections should be guided strictly by law and procedure. When an allegation of interference surfaces, it raises immediate concern. Obi's position is clear. He believes that political office holders should not be seen near the operational decisions of electoral officials. Even the perception of influence can damage public confidence. The importance of this argument cannot be overstated. Nigeria has a long history of election disputes. Allegations of interference, manipulation, and undue influence have shaped political debates for decades. Because of this history, Nigerians are sensitive to anything that appears to compromise neutrality. By linking Wike to the election process, Obi is highlighting what he sees as a dangerous pattern. He is suggesting that political power should not overlap with electoral management. Supporters of the FCT minister may argue that overseeing the territory does not automatically mean interfering in elections. They may insist that administrative coordination is different from influencing results. However, Obi's claim goes beyond administrative roles. He is questioning whether boundaries were respected. Boundaries matter in governance. When institutions have clearly defined roles, democracy functions more smoothly. The Electoral Commission conducts elections. The executive governs. The judiciary interprets the law. When those lines blur, suspicion grows. This is why the allegation is significant. The FCT is not like other states. It does not have an elected governor. The minister plays a central role in its administration. That concentration of authority makes neutrality even more important during elections. Any sign of involvement beyond legal limits can easily attract criticism. Obi's comments reflect a broader call for institutional discipline. He is insisting that Nigeria must move away from a culture where powerful individuals appear to shape processes behind the scenes. He argues that elections must be seen as clean, transparent, and insulated from executive influence. He also pointed out that democracy depends not only on voting but on trust. Once citizens begin to suspect that political actors can tilt the process, participation weakens. Voter confidence drops. Civic engagement declines. This is not simply about one minister or one election. It touches on the principle of fairness. The accusation has now widened the national conversation. Analysts are debating the legal limits of the FCT minister's authority. Political observers are asking whether proper separation was maintained. Citizens are questioning whether electoral independence in Nigeria is strong enough to withstand political pressure. At the moment, there has been no formal admission of wrongdoing. The FCT minister has not accepted any claim of interference. There are also voices defending the conduct of the election, insisting that procedures were followed within available capacity. However, the presence of these competing narratives does not erase the concern. The credibility of elections depends not only on technical compliance but also on public perception. Even if rules were followed, if the public believes influence occurred, trust suffers. Obi's remarks have therefore shifted attention from logistics alone to governance ethics. He is not merely criticizing delays or irregularities. He is raising a question about political culture. Should powerful officials step back completely during elections? Should there be stricter safeguards to prevent any possible overlap between administrative authority and electoral operations? These are the deeper questions now circulating in political discussions. The situation has placed INEC and the FCT administration under scrutiny. It has also reminded Nigerians that democratic consolidation requires constant vigilance. Institutions must not only function, they must be seen to function without bias. As the debate continues, the key issue remains institutional integrity. If electoral independence is protected, democracy strengthens. If political actors are perceived to interfere, confidence erodes. That is the heart of the controversy now unfolding. The larger implication of this controversy now goes beyond one election in Abuja. What began as criticism of irregularities and allegations of interference has developed into a national conversation about the strength of Nigeria's democratic institutions. At the center of this conversation is a simple but serious concern: are the systems meant to protect democracy working as they should? Peter Obi's remarks have pushed that concern into the spotlight. He has framed the issue as one of standards. According to him, Nigeria cannot continue to operate below expected democratic benchmarks. Elections, whether national or local, are not routine administrative tasks. They are constitutional duties that shape leadership and influence governance at every level. When questions arise about how they are conducted, it affects more than just the immediate outcome. Public trust is the foundation of democracy. Citizens may disagree on candidates, policies, or party lines, but they must believe that the process itself is fair. Once that belief weakens, frustration builds. When frustration builds, participation declines. Over time, that decline can weaken the entire political system. This is why the Abuja election situation has drawn attention far beyond the Federal Capital Territory. Observers are asking whether institutional reforms promised in past years have been fully implemented. They are questioning whether operational gaps have been addressed. They are also examining whether safeguards against political influence are strong enough. These are not emotional questions. They are structural questions. Nigeria has conducted multiple elections over the years, each accompanied by its own set of challenges and improvements. Technological adjustments, policy updates, and training programs have all been introduced at different times to strengthen the system. However, each new controversy reopens the debate about effectiveness. Obi's intervention has therefore amplified an ongoing national discussion about accountability. Accountability in a democracy operates on several levels. Electoral bodies must be accountable to the Constitution and to the people. Political office holders must be accountable to legal boundaries. Institutions must be accountable to established standards. When any of these elements appear weak, public confidence is affected. The conversation is also unfolding at a time when political awareness in Nigeria is high. Citizens are more engaged in electoral matters than ever before. Social media platforms, civic groups, and independent analysts continuously monitor events and share information. As a result, any perceived lapse in procedure quickly becomes widely discussed. This heightened awareness means institutions are under constant observation. It also means that responses to concerns must be clear and credible. Silence or vague statements often fuel more speculation. Detailed explanations, transparent investigations, and firm reassurances tend to restore confidence more effectively. At present, the debate remains active. There has been no official confirmation of systemic failure. There has been no admission of interference. Yet the fact that such allegations have gained traction signals that Nigerians expect higher standards. The Federal Capital Territory carries symbolic weight. It represents national authority. Events that occur there often set the tone for broader political discourse. Because of this, any controversy in Abuja resonates across the country. The key issue now is whether this moment will lead to institutional reflection. Will there be internal reviews within the Electoral Commission? Will administrative boundaries be clarified to prevent future disputes? Will communication improve between authorities and the public? These are practical questions that determine whether lessons are learned. Democracy is not sustained by declarations alone. It is sustained by consistent adherence to rules, transparent processes, and visible fairness. Every election, whether local or national, becomes a test of that commitment. Peter Obi's criticism has effectively placed a spotlight on that test. Supporters argue that raising such issues strengthens democracy by encouraging scrutiny. Critics suggest that repeated public criticism may deepen political tension. Both perspectives reflect the reality of a vibrant political environment where debate is constant. However, beyond the arguments lies a shared interest: stability. Stable democracies depend on institutions that function predictably. They depend on clear separation of powers. They depend on processes that inspire confidence rather than suspicion. As this issue continues to unfold, Nigerians are watching carefully. They are evaluating not only the claims but also the responses. They are measuring whether institutions react defensively or constructively. The future of democratic credibility does not rest on one statement or one election. It rests on how concerns are addressed and whether improvements follow. That is where the real impact of this controversy will be measured.